Welcome back to the channel. Today's conversation is one I think a lot of agents, especially those thinking bigger than just transactions, are going to connect with. I'm sitting down with Eric Wright, who made the transition from the automotive world into the real estate world and has since built not just a successful brokerage, but a people-first culture rooted in leadership, relationships, and family. We talk about what it really means to lead, how company culture impacts production, why prioritizing people over profit actually creates long-term success, and what new agents need to focus on if they want to build something meaningful and sustainable. This isn't about shortcuts, it's about building the right way. Let's jump in. How did you decide to get into real estate in the first place?
I kind of came back to the days where I used to work for a Ford company here in town, long time, 10 years. I thought that was my vision and my dream. I was following my leaders above me, and I was making rank advancements real quick. I had got introduced to real estate because I saw a lot of realtors' cars back then. And I had one realtor actually try to recruit me to become the next and upcoming broker for her and top realtor for her, and just never did it. The crash happened in '08. Car business was tough in '08, '09. Home business was tough in '08, '09. The good thing I had was leadership skills. And I always led a team of people at the end of Ford's. One of my best friends started working for a leasing company. It was called Nebraska Public Power. So they hired me, and he called me and was like, "Hey, I have 60 agents I want you to manage." I'm like, "I know nothing about electric energy, because I'm out there buying and selling land and leases for NPPD." And he's like, "It's not what I want you for. I want you because you can manage these people and train these people." So I joined that, and that was what kind of got me in the door with land. Until 2000, that was from 2010 to 2015, I just did land. That's all I did. I loved it. Loved controlling the team and helping the team win. And we were writing, instead of taking money like a car business would, I was giving checks. I was writing $1 million checks and things like that. So I was developing relationships, and I was doing really good at it. And it's going to lead me into my next venture here soon. We'll talk about that later. But probably in 15 is when the state of Nebraska required NPPD people to get their licenses. So from there, I sent a couple buddies who were doing it with me. When you got their real estate licenses, they started selling houses on the side and just making a side gig, an extra 10, 15, 20 grand a month. So it wasn't very long before we got involved in it. We're like, what is this? Let's go take a look at this. Jumped into the home business in actually 2015, kept working for NPPD until 2018. I grew my real estate business from 2015 to 2018. 2018, we walked away from NPPD. I was just tired of traveling. I was traveling the whole state of Nebraska every day and often and missing some events and things like that for my kids. And I wanted the time freedom that real estate had done. And we'd really known a lot of people in our hometown that created that opportunity for us to walk away from our full-time jobs and go into real estate. And that was kind of scary because we walked away from paychecks to create your own checks. But so that's kind of how I got involved.
I always look at like real estate agents. It's what they did before they actually got into real estate, which kind of sometimes determines whether or not they're going to be successful in the real estate industry. So one thing that you had said was that, the company that the leasing company that you were talking about wanted to hire you because of your leadership skills that obviously you developed in the car business working with Ford. And then from that standpoint, we'll teach you the leasing part, we'll teach you the company part. And really, you didn't need to know much about it other than there were people that you needed to build relationships with and a team that you needed to lead.
Yeah, I was acquiring land easements and leases, and I knew nothing about any of it when I started with them. So it's just
And so
managing
then
people.
you basically took that into the real estate business. Now, did you start off with a team, or was it just you that got into real estate? Was Jen with you at the time when you got into real estate, or
It was Jen and I both, because we both had she was working with me. I got her into NPPD with me, and she was actually doing the title part. So I was out acquiring leases and helping the team win and getting that done. And then my buddy needed to add on somebody who would pull paperwork and do title work and do the back research for all the agents. So we talked with her, and she said, "Yeah, why not?" Because she wasn't doing anything for a couple of years, she wasn't doing anything. So, and then in 2015, we were both required to get our licenses. So she got hers and I got mine. And then we're like, why not?
Now, does Jen, correct me on this if I'm wrong on it, but didn't Jen's family have some kind of background in real estate?
Her grandma is a realtor, yeah, and then
Okay.
her cousin is a realtor. She's been a realtor for about 6 years.
And are they there? Are you guys from Grand Island, or were you born and raised there, or?
I'm from out west, and where I worked with MPPD out there in North Platte, Nebraska, but she was from here in town, so pretty much. Her grandma had been a realtor here still is a realtor for like 25, 30 years.
So you're a top agent, broker, owner, and land developer. So how do you keep a strong culture across all parts of the business? So, from all of that, yeah, and obviously, from the broker owner side, you got to focus on recruiting. I know you guys have been kind of putting your tentacles out there. You've opened a couple other offices in the state of Nebraska. So tell me a little bit about all that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Allie, my little cousin, who started with us when we took off in 2021, we opened up Summit Real Estate. And it was just my wife and I, and we expected Grandma and Allie to follow, and so they came with us, and then two other agents that we had just a little bit of experience and knowledge with and knew. They jumped over, so it's really just six of us. But we weren't looking to start what we have built today. It was going to be a small mom and pop thing. I was just tired of the split. I was just tired of all the things that I knew that I wanted to do different ways. And I asked my old, I guess, broker that I wanted to do this and this and this. And he's like, you can't. It's my way or the highway. It was like he just put his head in the dirt, and there's just like no cooperation with me at all. And I knew I wanted to do bigger things and better things. And so when I started this, I just said, hey, I want to do it this way, and I want to do this and this and this. And people followed us. And from there, Allie's little friend and best friend and our COO, pretty much my right hand, Andrea, joined us as a marketer. She was working with a real estate company as well. But she's like, I want to be with you guys. And we're like, we're not going to do anything special here. We're just going to be small. And she's like, you need a marketer. And we kind of thought about it for a couple of days. We weren't making any money yet. So it was something that I had to pay for, and Jen had to pay for to pay her salary, our own checks that we were getting, commission checks. From there, we kind of just started doing something small. And then just the law of attraction, I guess. We're just winning in town, and a couple more people came, and then the agents are recruiting more people. And now we've expanded to, I had a gal that I've known for a long time, and she's friends with Allie and my wife as well. And she said, hey, can you come to Lincoln? And I was like, well, Lincoln's a tough market. I don't know much about Lincoln. I'd have to have the right people there. And she's like, well, would my partner and I be the right people? So I went down there and met them and talked to him. And I said, yeah, it sounds like this will be a fit. This is what I want. This is my expectations that will not be, this is my non-negotiables. And they like that. And so that has now turned into 7 agents in Lincoln. And now we're sitting, and then also we have just opened up, kind of had just a cool deal fall in my lap in Kearney. A couple things went different for some other brokers in Kearney, and got a couple calls and said, hey, would you consider coming to Kearney? And I'm like, yeah, I service the Kearney area as a realtor. I'll help you out. And he's like, no, would you come to Kearney and open up some real estate? We've seen you in Grand Island and seen your expansion and growth. We want to be part of it. So I kind of did the same thing and went over there and went over my non-negotiables, and this is what I want. This is my vision. This is how we're growing. This is what I'm doing. And they said yes, and they agreed to it. It's some of the best hires I've ever made. So a couple of them, now we're sitting at 2 over there, and I just got promoted 1 to a managing broker, and I think we're hiring 3 to 4 in the next week here, so over there. So we'll be sitting about 7 or 8 agents over there as well.
So are you finding it hard at all yet to manage those that, because even though they're all in the state of Nebraska, it's still a good hour,
Both ways.
Hour and a half drive for you to go to these offices.
I think it's something that we offer that a lot of companies can't offer. Jen and I have been working together since 2010, hand in hand. As husband and wife, most people get divorced when they do that. They work together, they sleep together, they're always with each other. And that was a trial in our marriage for a little bit. Had some nice little fights there, but once we figured out how to stay in our own lane, that's when we really grew. We were a part of a company that had a great leadership program, and another part of our journeys coming up. So we learned a lot about leadership and stuff like that. So then, I guess with her, she's a broker. She's the one behind the books. She's the one doing all the documents. I'm the one doing coaching, mentoring, training the
Hey,
agents.
I've done trainering before.
And then I'm the one. We both travel. We both go to Kearney or Lincoln. We split and conquer. We keep ourselves open, and we sit and we go with the agent. We just don't sit behind a desk, and so we kind of lead from the front. So
No, that's good. That's good. All right. So you're mentioning Jen. So you work alongside your wife, and I think your daughter is part of the business as well. So what's helped your family work well together professionally?
I think what Lexi came back from college from Omaha, and she's all she's ever known since 2010, 2015 is real estate. And so for her to come into the business, and her mom had high expectations for her, and we made her get a real estate license, and she shadowed Jen for a good month before we even let her go. But she's like the front facing person of our office when you first walk in the door. She has 9 to 5. She's always in the office. She's taking care of flyers for the agents and doing some of the marketing and doing entries into the MLS systems. She's there doing that, so she fills a great role as well. But that was because of her mom teaching her and mentoring and coaching her. So
Okay. So when you think of your company culture, and you had mentioned earlier that you talked to the guys and gals in Kearney, and there were some non-negotiables. I'm assuming that has probably something to do with culture. So, what values matter most to you and Jen and Summit?
I think the biggest thing is we put people over the profit. So we're there for our people. We're in their lives. We're going to weddings. We're going to graduations. We're going out on date nights with them. We show up in Lincoln and Kearney and come to lunches. And like tonight, we're going to be in Lincoln for one of our agents' weddings. That not every agent in our company is invited to. Is just she wanted us to be there, and so we said yes, we'll be there. We came to her 30th birthday party. It's just we do something, and we're in each one of our agents' lives, and for different reasons. And we do a lot of gatherings too. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I do is we're more fit of a close knit family than just a broker waiting for you to bring me a check. It's just we're in their lives and we enjoy being. And we don't hire everybody, so we're having growth. But I turn more down than I hire, and that's the thing too. Is they all enjoy and they all mesh together well because when we're interviewing agents, we can see the attitudes and match them up and see like, hey, how would this person fit with this person? And so far, we're doing pretty good. I think we have 38 agents, and they all get along. And then you see normal offices have the spats and the screaming and the yelling and slamming doors and cat fights and everything happens. We haven't had to go through that, so.
Well, and I think kudos to you because there's again working with a lot of teams and brokers and owners. There's a lot of people that are great real estate agents, but they're really bad managers. They're really bad leaders. Like they're a leader of one, right? And but there was a time in real estate, I think it was probably when you got in, that teams started to kind of take over the market. At least here in our local market in Omaha, teams kind of started to sprout up. Independent contractors, right? They wanted to, again, they wanted the caveat of being underneath that blanket of a brokerage firm, but they wanted to have that independence of a broker, right? Of being, kind of growing their own culture, their own people, which, like what you had said earlier in the interview, is you wanted the same thing. You probably would have stayed with the brokerage firm, but they said, do it my way or it's the highway, right? So as a broker owner, how do you balance? Because I know you're still in, you wear the hat of a real estate agent, meaning that you're helping your sphere of influence buy and sell and helping their referrals, but you're also wearing the hat of a developer. So how do you take, as a broker owner, how do you balance production with taking care of your people? Because you said you also wear the hat of, of being the trainer. Or
I'd say if anybody told you they're excellent at all those things, they're lying to you. Because I try to do the best that I can do every day, and I know I'm just missing somewhere, something somewhere. And so if anybody tells you that they're doing it the perfect way all day long, they're lying to you. But I try to do it the best I can. And I think you probably know this better than anybody else. I put my agents first. So when you're calling me or anybody else is calling me or doing things like this, but I have an agent in my office or asking me to go do an open house with them or going to showing with them or doing a listing appointment with them, I go with my agents first. And so, and then I work with a developer hand in hand. You know, he's in the same building right next door to me, so it's kind of nice. We built our new office, so now you can walk in his office and talk to him anytime. But it's just putting the people first and doing that way. And so, and then I follow my routine. But I show up to the office early and I work late a lot, and I do my stuff after I've already done their stuff.
Again, I think, when my mentor Floyd Wickman told me a long time ago, stay new, right?
Yep.
And what that in the beginning it never meant anything to me, but as you get older, what it means to me now, it means don't forget where you came from,
Yep.
right? And I think a lot of brokers who start off like you're right now, and then you have success, and then you see, wow, gosh, I need these different things, so I'm going to go to say Keller Williams, or I'm going to go to a brand that has that package deal. I can be a franchise. I can be that franchise now. I know you came from that type of scenario before, but it's harder to add in those components to try to bring value to your agents versus just saying, "Oh, wow, I like that one over there. Let me sign up with that." And I can't think of her name right now, but there's a broker in Columbus that went from being her own, then she went to BHHS, then she went to Keller Williams, and now she's with EXP. And I think that you find yourself doing that. But my point in saying what I'm saying here is that I think that brokers get away from what started everything, right? And when you're saying I put my people first, so any decision that you make in regards to Summit Real Estate, you run it through that filter of is this the best thing for our real estate agents? Would you say that?
Yeah, and I get calls every day. I get guys walking to my office telling me that I should shut my company down. I should come work for an ABC company because they offer this, this, and this. And I'm doing this service to my agents, and I can't compete with them. But yet, I'm beating their own brokerage here in my current town. So I kind of laugh at that. And then some other things like that. My thing is I can't be bought. And like I said, we get calls. I get investors calling me. I got an investor that called me and said, give you $1 million. I want 20% of your business. $1 million would do great things for me. It would help me advance faster. It'd help me get top technology. It'd help me push into more markets. Help me do a lot of things. But what it wouldn't help me do is own 100% of my own company. And I'm the guy that the buck stops on. I'm the guy that says, yes, we're doing this, or yes, we're not doing, or no, we're not doing this. And so that's kind of the biggest thing, as I say, is I can't be bought. And a lot of people think that they can come in and buy you and all this, but when you think about doing something for the agents, like we're going heavy AI right now. We're talking to the agents. We have roundtable meetings with our agents. We sit down and we had all their other companies come in, and I go over to Kearney and have meetings with Kearney agents. I go to Lincoln and have meetings with Lincoln agents. And this is what we're doing. What do you think? What are we missing? What do we need? And so we're spending the money to buy those top programs that all these other fancy, flashy companies have, and showing that we can keep up with those guys and not have the royalty fees and the blower cuts and the this and that. So,
But and at the end of the day, all of that stuff is great, right? It's all great stuff. But the thing that I think most real estate agents miss out. So I just shot a video, and it was based off social media. Okay. I think agents are. I'm not. I love social media. I love branding, right? But I think a lot of agents try to put those two components into their business at the wrong time, right? At the beginning, because you have short term needs, right? You have to pay the rent, you have to pay your mortgage, you have to put food on your table, right? And social media and branding are great, but they're long term, right? They're things that are 3 or 4 years down the road, delayed gratification. And I look at say, okay, AI is great, CRMs are great, all this stuff's great, but at the end of the day, if the agents aren't going on appointments and they aren't putting things under contract, it doesn't mean anything, right? So this may be one of my questions at the end, but I feel that I'm going to ask it right now. So if there's a brand new agent that comes into your office right now and they say, you know what, gosh, I love your guys' social media, right? Because they see all this stuff. They see where you're at today. They didn't see where you were at 7 years ago, 10 years ago, right?
Right.
They just see where you're at today and they're going, oh my gosh, you're doing these TikTok videos and falling down stairs and doing all this stuff. That's got to be the thing that's getting you all this business. What would you say is the number one thing that you would tell a real estate agent in your first year of real estate? This is what you need to focus on.
I would say that you need to focus on growing your sphere of influence, showing up, and being in as many rooms as you can get into. And in every room you get into, people should know who you are and what you do. That's the number one thing I tell people to focus on, because that's the only way. The more communications you have on a daily basis leads to more business. You can't sit at home and think that you're going to be a great agent and not going to work and not show up to the office. I tell my agents every day to come to the office just for a little bit, not for the whole day, but come in, do your daily work activities, your things are going to create you income, and then go do the things that aren't creating you income. Go do the home inspections and the pest inspections and things like this, and and also like control your day. I have home inspectors call me saying, I'm going to do it at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Does that work? No, it doesn't work for me because I have a lot of other things going on. That home inspector works for you. That and pest inspector works for you. You set the time that they work for you. And so I just control your day, but show up and do the work activities and treat it like a job.
So now you said earlier that you wake up early, go to bed late. So what does it look like? What does a typical day look like for you?
I'm up usually around 5:30, 4:30, 5:30 every day, sending emails, making my wife mad. She's like, people don't like getting emails and text messages at 4:30 in the morning. And I'm like, hey, they're going to think of me first. Just, I got other things on my mind. And if I don't send it out, I just lose it because I have so much things going on. So I try to send as much as I can. Then I get up and I come to the office and I get about an hour or so of just myself time. And then the agents start rolling in and then it just goes from there. And then I got the developer next door. I have another development up north of town we just took over. And then I have one out just east of town we took over. So I'm working on those three developments daily. Doing signs. I just hired a full-time guy to come in and be kind of a contractor helper, putting up signs, things like that, because we're getting too busy. But in the developments, we're getting more and more developments and expanding. But it's just I'm working with him. I'm working with social media marketing manager, building websites. We're doing things every day. It's just a lot every day. But
So in order to organize that, Eric, are you using a schedule, something, whether it's digital schedule or something that's, that you write in or?
so we just got hooked on Close, which is a new CRM that we on, and it actually works for me well. It's more of a CRM, daily manager, task manager, sending happy birthday cards, anniversary cards, connecting with people every day, making that relationship as well. But also, it goes off my text messages, it goes off my emails, it tracks my day and tracks who I've talked to, and that helps me out a lot. So that's a lot of it. I can't. I tried to, and I've tried many times to block my day, and it doesn't work. So I mean, I get
Here's the thing. I believe there's in your career, there's two types of schedules, right? When you're new in real estate and you ain't got anything going on, you're not going on appointments, you're not doing all this stuff, you got to be heavy into activities, right? So it's you had mentioned it earlier, building your database, organizing that, all names, phone numbers, email addresses, birthdays, whatever, because you had mentioned that you send out birthday cards, anniversary cards. And that's just kind of, when we're first developing this database, I think most real estate agents think that if somebody goes in a database, it's somebody who's buying or selling, right? Or somebody who's going to refer them. No, the people that go in the database are people and know you, and they just need to know, number one, how you can help them, how you can service them, and number two, what you do for a living, right? I mean, that some people think that that's the same thing when it's really not. You have to let them know that, and then you have to let them know that like over time, right? And then there's cold outreach, right? So if you're brand new, I don't care if you've grown up in the town. It doesn't matter. Momentum comes from your database of marketing to them, right?
right.
Of staying top of mind. But at the same time, in order to pay those bills, right now, you got to go find some low-hanging fruit. So whether it's door knocking, open houses, maybe you're working for sell by owners, expireds. I never advise those because those are higher level skills. Do you have any closing thoughts? So if you have a broker out there or somebody that's thinking about opening their own company, and you can go in any direction. Somebody who's thinking, because you're doing it all, right? You're doing land development. You're doing, you got your own company. You have your own real estate business. So whatever your closing thoughts, what are they?
I just say be true to yourself and chase your dream. When I was going to open up a brokerage, I was trying to go work for somebody else, and I was interviewing with a couple other brokers that I knew really well. And I said, this is what I want, this is what I want. And two of them, it kind of pissed me off at the time, but it actually led to where I am today. They said, go build your own company because you're not going to find anything out there that has what you want. He goes, they said, I had the ideas, and this is 5 years ago. I had the ideas of what I wanted to do where I am. Do developments. I want to do property leasing. I want to do land developments. I want to do things like that. A lot of these brokers in my hometown are just all about, residential doors. So just go follow you and be who you want to be and chase that and keep growth. But put people over the profit and you'll make it a lot further. You can help people get where they want to get to, and then that'll help you get where you eventually want to get to. That's a long-term goal. Slow and steady pace wins the game.
If there's one thing Eric reinforced in this conversation, it's this. Real estate is a people business long before it's a numbers business. Whether you're a newer agent, a team leader, or someone thinking about building something bigger, the lessons here apply across the board. Control your day, show up consistently, invest in relationships, and stay true to the vision you feel called to build. If this conversation added value, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another agent who needs to hear it. And if you're looking for structure, leadership development, and systems to build a predictable business without losing what matters most, check out the resources below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.